All right, we'll get started. People join, that's fine. There's a couple people stuck in traffic, so there might be some people coming in late. But welcome to our first ever Coaches for Coaches Professional Development Day. Thanks for coming. My name, for anyone who doesn't know, is C.D. Johnson. I work at the British School, but in the past I've also worked at the American School. And then...
Yeah, I'm Jeff Coates, and I'm the AD here at the International School for the last 3 years. And we are very, very pleased that you guys are here today. ISU, we have a break, so that you're here is awesome. So thank you so much. We'll go over the basics, some general information. We have an opening guest, opening speaker, and then we go out to our workshops. But from us, we are very, very fortunate, very happy that you guys are here. It means a lot to us. We try to push our philosophy, educational-based athletic philosophy, in our Mongolian community. It's been a tough battle for the last 3-4 years, CD even longer, to get this going. And in the end, it will benefit our kids, and that's what we're here for. So thank you guys so much for being here today with us. So, yeah, so I'll go. So we'll start with some general information. If a fight drill goes off, we all go outside and we're going to line up at the bricks over there. So whatever you guys are doing, leave everything, and we're going to walk outside and go into the cold and line up over there. So we are in the theater today. During the presentations and workshops in the other 2 rooms, I'll leave the schedule here on the big screen so you can see wherever everything is. We're in the theater. Outside over there, at the end of the day, we'll have some food for you guys, so thank you. Our presentation will be in room 159C and 160C. If you go out to the left, you can see over there the doors are open and the coaches banners are on the door, so you know exactly where the presentations are. And the coffee shop is open today. I hope everybody received their coffee coupon. You got 1 free for us today. So the coffee shop is open till 5 today. So please go there and have a coffee. Wi-Fi is ISU guest for those not at ISU, and which is open. You don't have to put any password or nothing in it. So please join our Wi-Fi here. And Suke is here today. He's our IT support. He will be around at the workshops to help you if there's anything. Also for the workshop leaders, if you need anything, Suke will be there to help us out. Like I said, free coffee. So bring this coupon. I hope Tuga and Andrea at the sign-in put a red dot on it. That's Søren's cue that you paid and that you can get your coffee from us.
All right, so the schedule for today, I know Jeff shared this with you, but just in case you haven't had a chance to really look it over to memory, we're at the start, at the opening. We'll have our guest speaker. He sent us a video, and we'll share that with you momentarily, from Douglas Killgore. And then we'll be able to break off into some separate workshops. The first one will be child protection and athletics. That will be for everyone that's in here. That's in here. So we'll start in here. And then from there, you'll be able to choose whichever one you want to go to. And they're listed: professional development opportunities, physical literacy and primary, move on to student ownership, the mental game of peak performance. And then we'll come back in here to have a presentation from SOS Medical. That'll be everyone back together again. Have a small break, a little opportunity to get to the coffee shop. And then again, there are 6 more sessions in the afternoon that you can choose from. Again, you can go to one or the other. The rooms are right next to each other, so you shouldn't get lost going between those 2. And if by the end of the day you are feeling kind of information overload and you do need to skip a session to go use the restroom or get yourself a coffee, that is acceptable. But just choose the ones that you want to go to, make the most out of it today. At the end, we're going to video all of the workshops, and then we'll make those available to you. So if there's 2 that you want to go to in the same time slot, you can choose the one that you want to go to in person, and then the video will be available for you afterwards of the other one. At the end, we'll meet back in here in the theater, have some closing remarks. We'll thank all of you again for coming, and then there'll be some food and drink right outside, and then you'll be free to go.
Yeah, and at the end we'll also have a little quick survey for you guys. Now, there's loads of things we can improve on this, but it's the first time we're doing it, so we're going to ask your feedback. There's also an opportunity, which we will mention, to get certified, to get some hours. So we will ask you to fill up which workshop you've done, and we're going to make a certificate and we're going to sign that. And our director will sign that, and I'm going to ask someone else from the NYAAA to sign that too. So yeah, there's loads of stuff to do today. And food and drink will be outside over here. So for the website, this is very important. I didn't want to print anything off today, like schedules or stuff. So please go have this website on your phone. You can also scan the QR code. The information of the workshop is on the website. So who the workshop is for. Some workshops are more for coaches, some more workshops are more for ADs or PE teachers, so it varies a little bit. So please check what the workshop is about. There's a descriptor, title, the room, everything is in the specific page of that workshop. Some workshops might need to go to the big gymnasium, because we're going to do some kind of physical things. I know already 2 that are going to go there. From the room, she's going to walk over there. The lights are already on, the storage is open, so those workshops will bring you guys over there and to finish up. Okay.
So we did charge you $50,000 to come today. That was partly so you take it seriously. When you have to pay something, then you're going to take it seriously.
Cover the food.
Also cover the food, cover the coffee, that sort of stuff. And then anything that's left over will be donated to the Blue Foundation. If you've been here a while, you're probably familiar with the Blue Foundation. It was started by a lady, Julie Ballou, and her goal is to raise money for kids that live at the garbage dump. Essentially, families live at the garbage dump, and she doesn't want to see that become a generational problem. So she raises money. They've got a school over there. They've got a summer camp that the kids can get away and just be a kid for a while. And so I talked to her a little bit prior to today. And one of her main fundraisers is the Gobi Gallop. It's an annual event they do every year. She gets a bunch of tourists to come in and they go on this 700-kilometer horse trek. With the borders being closed, there are no tourists this year, so she's doing a solo challenge to ride 700 kilometers alone by herself somewhere through the Gobi. And she said there's videos, blogs. I think she started just a couple of days ago. I want to say it was 10 days or 14 days she was going to be on this trek. So if you get a chance, if you Google Julie Ballou or the Ballou Foundation, you can follow along with her. And she was very grateful for us to donate to her foundation, because without all the tourists, they've kind of struggled this year and are wanting to help out as much as they can. So,
Thank you for that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go to the opening speaker, if the times of the workshops, we're going to try to keep the workshop 25 minutes. I would like to encourage everybody to be at the next workshop, which is child protection and athletics. This is going to be a bit longer. Hope the presenters here on time. Waiting for our director, Bill Elman. And at 4 o'clock, we have SOS Medical coming in. Dr. Luzanne is going to be here today with us. She's going to talk about injury prevention in athletics. I saw her presentation, it looked very interesting. So we would like to encourage you all to be here for those 2 presentations. If you want to take a break here and there, please check the website. If there's 2 next to each other that doesn't really interest you, or even it doesn't really apply to me, have a break, okay? Everything will be recorded, like CD said, and we're gonna post it on our YouTube page, but we're also gonna share with you guys with all the resources of all the workshop leaders today. Yeah, so our opening speaker for today, a little bit about Doug. So I met Doug Killgore. He will introduce himself. He made a lovely video. He had 2 cameras set up. It looked really cool. I met Doug through the NYAAA. It's the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrator Association. Got that? And he's big in that. And there are courses online for international athletic directors, and Doug runs most of them. And then we asked him to be on our podcast.
Yep. So yeah, we got a chance to interview Doug and just kind of get some more information about education-based athletics and kind of what that means. And after the interview, we had reached out again to Doug to see if he would be interested in speaking at our conference. We knew that 50,000 tubrics wouldn't cover the cost of flights and hotels and everything. So he was kind enough to put a video together for us to just introduce the conference, talk a little bit about education-based athletics, what it is, and then kind of kick us off for today.
Yeah, and he's called the bow tie AD because he always looks fancy in the bow tie. So yeah, we'll enjoy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Doug Killgore. In the U.S. and a few other places, I'm known as the Bow Tie AD. And it's my privilege to be with you this afternoon and to give you some insights into my experience and a lot of my mistakes that I've made as far as being an athletic director. Not too many years ago, I finished 18 years as an athletic director and assistant principal at a smaller school in North Little Rock, Arkansas. In my activities in Arkansas and then throughout the nation with the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association, or the NIAAA, it's been my pleasure and honor to interact with several people even around the world. I've made 2 trips to Asia to talk to athletic directors at international schools all over Asia, and also to teach some NIAAA leadership training courses in both Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia, and Bangkok, Thailand. Earlier this summer, during the corona crisis, I had contacted and been contacted by several people around the world with the idea of contributing some of the information that I put out to various places around the world. Thus, I came in contact with Jeff and CD and their work in Mongolia. Not too long ago, they asked me to make a short presentation as you begin your great conference. I am so grateful to Jeff and CD for the invitation to participate in the conference, and am even more proud of them for putting on something like this that is much needed information and guidance, and yes, even mentoring, to show that we can network out with one another and benefit from the successes as well as the mistakes that we all made. You know, I've heard it said for many years that we don't have time to make all the mistakes in life. We need to learn from the mistakes of others. And hopefully the information I can give you today will help alleviate some problems in your work with your student athletes in the schools that you are meeting with. They asked me to talk about education-based athletics, which primarily in the United States, this involves sports as it applies to a school setting. Now, there are all kind of other manifestations of sports, the club sports, the travel teams, and many things like this. But we're primarily going to concentrate on education-based athletics, or that which works with student athletes throughout the school environment, from various ages, all the way from the elementary through the middle school and into upper school ages, and the benefits it can provide. First of all, in order to qualify as education-based athletics, we must concentrate on being compatible with the education environment, or education compatibility, to have the same goals, the same processes, the same products in mind as we do that, primarily to justify the resource. In the United States, the average expenditures on athletics and activities, not counting salaries, usually runs about 1 to 2% of the entire school budget. So with that, sometimes people will call us to validate what we're doing because they want to know where their time, effort, energy, and most of all, their money is going. Secondly, we concentrate on the complete development of the student, not just the physical, but the mental, the social, the emotional, the psychological benefits to the students that we work with, whether in the classroom, on the practice field, or on the game field. One of the great benefits of doing this is we avert some of the negative sides of life. We get them involved with something, to find an identity, to move into some areas that they can positively contribute and get better at life, not just better at basketball, baseball, softball, and these kind of things. So we can avert some of the negative things of life, some of the violence, some of the hatred, some of the problems that go on among our young people as they, in essence, imitate the adults that are working with them. Hopefully we can alleviate that as they grow on up through our programs. It is a proven fact that activities and athletics improve performance of students. not simply student athletes, but of the students themselves. Grade point averages, the success at AP courses, the attendance, the behavior characteristics that impact them in a more positive way. Fewer absences, fewer problems, fewer disciplinary things, because they find an identity in either their sporting activities or their fine arts or other club activities that they experience within the education culture. So thus we talk about education-based athletics, and I would talk about activities as well. As a former opera singer coming into athletics from the outside, I see them both as parallels, as peers in the extracurricular environment. So we have some resulting needs from this. First of all, with our programs, we need a mission statement that applies to the programs, and it must reflect the mission statement of the school. They must go hand in hand, pursuing the same goals, the same methods, the same products with one another. So we've got to start out that'll give us an idea of where we want to go. Then we have to have goals, educationally compatible goals, to know the things that we can do in order to facilitate us getting to that product with as few problems as possible. Once we have these goals established, we come back to some action steps. How we're going to do that. What roads are we going to take as we go through this journey to maturity and adulthood with the student athletes that we're dealing with. And then at some point, you've got to think about program and personnel assessment. How are you doing? You've got to look at these ideas that you've created within your schools, that you're leading in your schools, and to see, are they working? What is working? Let's emphasize that. What may need a little bit of tweaking? And that is at both the personnel and the program level, to get some input from the various constituencies that you serve. You know, ultimately what we're after is character development. There is a quote that I like to use in presentations such as this, that one of good character possesses the knowledge and attitudes that are consistent with good behavior and excellent performance. Character leads to good behavior and excellent performance is the gist of that idea. You know, we have two parts of ourselves. We have the personality, which is what we are when people are watching, when the lights are on, how we act, how we react, how we behave, how we support one another, what really gets us going, what we're excited about. And then there's the character. Our character is based on what we are when no one else is looking, when the lights are off. These traits that we'll go into more in depth as we move through our presentation today. And it is personal and it's individual. You are working with a student athlete multiple times. Take your student athlete or your student involved in activities and multiply them by 50, by 100, by 200, depending on how big your programs are. So it is very personal. It is individual based on the ones that we're working in. There are positive aspects of this as well. There's sportsmanship, there's fair play, there's good treatment, there's respect, there's loyalty, there's commitment that we can get out of these activities as they involve the student athletes. Of course, there's also the downside of things as well. Poor sportsmanship, poor behavior, disrespect, bullying, cheating, all these things that have no place in education, and we certainly don't want them to have any place in the activity programs and athletic programs that we run. Focus on the positive aspects. Make sure you focus on the positive aspects, or things will happen like negative behavior. If you're just in it to win, if that is your ultimate goal, we want to win, we want to conquer, we want championships, somewhere along the line you're going to have student athletes that are performing negatively, that they're disrespecting, that they have poor sportsmanship, poor behavior on the field. They don't win with humility, and they don't lose with dignity. What we're after is success with humility and struggles, challenges, losses with dignity, to act in an appropriate manner when these things come upon us. And in doing this the wrong way, you will likely contradict the school mission. It will be something that there will be some despairing ideas that what we're doing in our programs don't fit the school mission. People are going to get a different idea of our school if they watch our sport teams and our students and our coaches are misbehaving. Well, I thought that was a great school. I thought that was I thought those schools were very highly thought of. And then they see behavior. That's why we need to concentrate on the positive to put things in perspective. For just a few moments, we're going to be talking about some 4 ideas. Number 1 is competence. Number 2 is character. Number 3 is civility. And number 4 is citizenship as we move into these. First, the competence. We have to have competent people in our programs. We teach them skills, whether they're individual or team skills. They have to know how to kick, how to run, how to move, how to sing, how to act, how to play their instruments. There's a certain amount of skills they need to master as they move up the program. They have to have a knowledge of the game and the strategies. What do these things mean? What's an onside kick? What are all these little rules about this? And then why are we doing what we do? Why does the coach ask you to go here, go there, and do these kind of things? The strategy that will lead to success along that line. And then ultimately, especially in sports, we're going to be dealing with lifestyle, with fitness, with conditioning, with nutrition, with proper lifestyle and behavior ethics as we move into these programs to make ultimately, as we move on to the citizenship idea, better adults of them as time passes. Secondly, we move to character. We've talked a little bit about that. People of character are responsible. They're accountable. They have a good dedication, a great worth ethic. They're honest. Ultimately, we're trying to instill in these students ideas of maturity and integrity. You know, the idea of integrity means the whole person, the entire person, the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, all of these things working together to make a product that is much more great than the sum of the parts therein. So within this idea of character, we want people who are filled with integrity and are mature and act in a mature fashion. We get to civility next. Something that is sorely missing in this world. Just plain old common sense, civility and respect. How about manners? How about yes ma'am, no ma'am? Yes sir, no sir, please, thank you, excuse me, may I? These kind of ideas that are just hard to find in our existence these days and aren't too well being patterned by our leaders with the confrontation and the conflicts that they have along these ideas. And all of this is directed toward other people. It's not about me. It's about the other person. How you act with your sportsmanship, with your maturity, with your manners, with your respect. It's about the other person. It's not my wishes. It's not my selfish motivations that bring this to me. Why are all these things important? Well, eventually at some point, these students are going to leave your care and keeping. They're going to graduate and move on to in the world. I like to say at my age, I hope that I get some people that I have taught through the years to take care of me when I'm old. Whether they're doctors or nurses or in the retirement home or whatever. Because these people have come up through programs and I know the quality of the person and individual they are. And their citizenship, they need to be loyal. They need to be committed to see something through to the end. They need to work with the team. They need to coordinate the efforts of one another. And especially of late, it's becoming important to let young people be involved in service and service projects. It doesn't matter what it does. When are they giving to other people? Are they holding the doors open? Are they going to the primary grades and reading? Because do not discount the fact that these younger children are really looking up to these student athletes that are in your program, to these leaders that are in orchestra, that are in choir, that are in drama, that are in student government. And they see them as these little toddlers running around the hall saying, I want to be like that one day. Well, you want them to model themselves on great examples as these students involved in your programs become better citizens, to go out into the college, into professional, that they get married, they have families, they start giving back to the community. Well, these are some pretty lofty goals. We do have some action steps to take, a list, there's about 9 items here that would be beneficial to pursue to give you a little sequential motivation and method of approach, the action steps toward this educational-based athletics and activities. Number one, we mentioned earlier, you've got to have a mission statement. You've got to know where you're going, and it has to be defined clearly. What are the benefits of our program going to be? Secondly, these programs will have objectives, little mile markers along the way, so you can tell if you're progressing, if you're off going on the wrong direction, to make us stay on the straight and narrow to accomplish the things that we have in our mission statement. Thirdly, all of these things have to be communicated. You must communicate your values to the entire constituency. Of course, when you come up with some of these ideas, make sure you take them to the administration so that they're behind you, they're backing you. But to share them with all of your constituents, with your coaching staff, with your teachers, with your faculty, with your students, with your parents, and maybe even with your fans if you have people from the outside coming into your school. Then two things, number 4 and 5, go hand in hand: to ensure equity and equality, as well as to increase opportunity. I think the most successful activity programs are those which are inclusive, not exclusive. You're not good enough. Let's have these no, you're no good. You're not going to help us. Well, can you help them? Can you help him or her become a better person, regardless of what they can give to your group, to your team, to your arts group, or anything like that? And remember this, if what we're doing is good, and we certainly hope that it is good for the individuals involved, if it's good for one, why isn't it good for all? Why isn't everyone able to take advantage of these? Identify the means to fulfill your mission. How are we going to get to these things? What are we going to do to apply these things within our programs? Create positive environments, encouraging, pats on the back, good job, atta boy, atta girl, great job, I'm proud of you. Kind of a positive atmosphere within your program. Number 8, the thing that will apply mostly to the professionals is these programs foster professional development for those who are leaders, to help them become better leaders, more knowledgeable, more in control, more able to identify with the people that they are working with, to encourage professional development so that the coaches as well as the students involved can grow in their profession as well. And then, as we said earlier, every once in a while you've got to evaluate the program. I mean, it comes down to simply, how are we doing? 2 things. What is working? Number 2, what is not working? The only way you can find out those ideas is through evaluation, through assessment, and getting all of your people involved. I do have a couple of 3 closing thoughts as we move toward the end of this session. First of all, one of the things that someone told me years ago, in order to expand, to get people out of their comfort zone, in essence, to stretch their bounds and stretch their limits, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. There are some people who are just content to just be here and sit. They don't want to advance. Sometimes those people need to be afflicted so they get out of their comfort zone and move on. Another idea that you can apply to yourself as a leader, as a coach, as a director: if your presence doesn't make an impact, then your absence will not make a difference. If your presence doesn't make an impact, then your absence will not make a difference. And then Tony Dungy, a National Football League champion, a coach of many years, and is now out on the speaking realm. This is American football with all the pads and shoulders, the stuff that you don't deal with over there. But Tony Dungy said this, particularly addressing the win at all cost: if it's only just about winning, I don't want to be a part of it. If it's only just about winning, I don't want to be a part of it. Coach Dungy is known for creating better men on his football team. Not just better football players, although he had a good bit of success, but he made better individuals and better men. Again, I'd like to commend Jeff and CD about this whole program, Coaches for Coaches, because they are fulfilling these ideas on a broader spectrum. They're bringing you in and helping to guide you with the professional development. And if nothing else, one of the greatest benefits of this is the networking that you will get by sitting with peers and sharing ideas as you go through the activities of the rest of the day. Professional development is very key for coaches and leaders. You know, there can be the nuts and bolts, the X's and O's of you go here, you go there. I can give you a couple of ideas of places to go. Here in the U.S., the National Federation of State High School Associations, or the NFHS, on their website, NFHS Learn, there are a lot of coaches' professional development sessions. Now, unfortunately, I think they're all in English for the time being, but many of them are free to help make you a better coach. It can be nuts and bolts, it can be health things, it can be how to deal with parents, it can be how to deal with challenging people throughout the list. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association, which is the worldwide association of athletic administrators, athletic directors, they have a lot of courses. You can get some information from Jeff and CD on those to make you better so that you can better serve the students that you are working with. Best wishes to you. Again, thanks to CD and thanks to Jeff for the invitation. And I do hope and pray that your time will be well spent and you can network with one another and then take these ideas out and implement them in your program. And best wishes to you with that task.
All right, so that was Mr. Bowtie AD, Doug Killgore. You can see he's got some spunk to him, kind of give away with the bow tie. But yeah, we had the honor of talking to him a little bit on our podcast, and then he graciously sent us this. Apologies about the slight disconnect and coming back and forth. Not sure what happened there. We're PE teachers, not IT guys. So
We did send Doug a present, a hadak and a bowl from Mongolia. We made a video ourselves and we sent it off to Doug. We don't know when it will arrive in Arkansas, but he saw it, hopefully, in response. But so we explained what it is and thank him for his time.
We mentioned it in passing a couple times, but Jeff and I have started a podcast called Athletics for Life. Our goal with the podcast is just to kind of bridge the gap between athletes, parents, and coaches, athletic administrators, students, and kind of get this message of education-based athletics across. Having coached in the States, you have parents that are around, invested, they're always there. They can see a lot of these things happening. Where here, sometimes the kids are just at practice and the parents maybe know, maybe don't know where their kids are. They're not at the games, they don't see these things happening. So our goal is just to kind of keep promoting this on another level, hopefully reaching some athletes, hopefully reaching some parents, coaches, and just from our perspective here in Mongolia. So we've done 2 episodes so far. We first interviewed Mr. Doug Killgore, who you just heard from, on education-based athletics. And then our most recent episode is with Mr. Tom Olmert. He is with Akamis, and so we just talked a little bit about Akamis. He's also a parent. His kids that went through Akamis, what he as a parent got from that, what he saw in his kids, and just again getting these messages out there to our audience. In the future, we've got some pretty interesting guests we're hoping to get on. We're hoping to bring on some former athletes, some students, alumni, and just get different perspectives about what athletics and sport can bring to our athletes for the rest of their lives. If you want to check it out, it's Athletics for Life on YouTube. Right now, that's the only place where our podcast is. Potentially in the future, we'll have it on Apple Podcast and Spotify, Stitcher, all that sort of stuff. But for now, it's just YouTube. You can check out our smiling faces there.
Yeah, and don't think that we edit everything. That's all Scott.
Yeah, so Scott in the back.
All the props to Scott over there. All the props.
So just really quickly, as Doug mentioned, one of the big perks, if nothing else from today, is the opportunity to network and make connections with these teachers from other schools. I recognize a few faces in the crowd, but I'd like you to just take a couple minutes and have like the church gathering, shake everyone's hands. You don't have to touch each other with Corona and stuff, but take a couple minutes and just introduce yourself to the people around you. Maybe why you coach, what you coach, why you coach, and why in the world you'd give up 6 hours on a Saturday to get better at that. So,
And if you don't, coach, is why you're here today.
Yeah.
We're very happy that you guys are here. Just share a little bit, not too long, because we have a second guest speaker coming up soon. So take a minute.
yeah, stand up, just the people that are close to you, who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
We're gonna finish the start. So we're gonna finish our introduction today. Again, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to us, but it's gonna mean a lot more to our kids, hopefully, because those are the ones who want to, teach those valuable life skills. If there's any questions about the day, the workshop, please let us know. We have people around who can help. I just want you guys to enjoy it today, and if you can take one thing out of it today, I think you did a good job. So have a great conference today. We're going to give you like a 5-minute break. Go to the toilet, have a quick coffee if you have time, and then we're going to have our first presenter about child protection and athletics, Mr. Bill Hellman, our director at IHG. So thank you so much.